Congratulations to you guys. 6 in a row now for the Hawks. 35-7 win on the road at Bryant. Just talk about that game and what pleased you the most.
Well, obviously we're happy to get the win, and won 35-7, improved overall to 8-1, and certainly we're happy with that. Happy with where we are in the conference right now. But going into the Bryant game, we knew that they were going to give us some challenges. I think they're a much better team than their record may indicate, and like us, their starting lineup was not at full strength. But it was a competitive game, and we knew we had to play our best in order to come away with a win. And I think you have to give credit to our team for their patience, their resilience. Things didn't go our way early. We had two first quarter turnovers, but unfortunately our guys stayed with it, and we were able to pull it out at the end.
First question for you this morning from Tiffany Williams. Go ahead, Tiffany.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Always good to talk to you after a good win. Talk to me about your main focus coming into practice this week and getting ready for next week. But you say happy after, 8-1. Is that an understatement to say happy?
I don't think it's an understatement. We try to keep our focus on 1 week at a time. Our mantra has always been try to go 1-0 this week and put everything we have to do in terms of our concentration, our preparation into getting that result. And the previous 9 games that we've played really don't matter right now. There's only one that matters, and that's the one that's coming up this weekend. I think we've got an offense that has been explosive. We've got a number of different weapons, although we're down at the quarterback position, and we've had some other guys step up, namely Rodney Nelson at the running back position, who's been able to pick up a lot of the slack there and has had 2 really good performances in consecutive weeks now. Frankie Weaver stepped in at the quarterback spot and is kind of on the job training, so to speak. He's getting better each week, and there's things maybe he didn't do as well in week 1 that he did a little bit better in week 2, and he's got to rely on the tools that he has around him, the running backs, the receivers, the tight ends, and the offensive line. And if he just plays within himself, I think he'll give us a chance to at least be successful. But I'm impressed by what we're doing on the defensive side as well, Tiffany. The unit is starting to gel. They're coming up with some key 3rd and 4th down stops, which is always important. And although we're a long way from being perfect on that side, we're starting to see some improvement there. I don't know if that answered your question, but
definitely.
Coach, Rodney now, as you touched on, back-to-back over 230, 3 games in his last 5 over 200. Is his consistency and the amount of carries that he's been able to handle for you, when especially the last couple of weeks with the different quarterback, are you surprised at all with the success he's been able to continue to have?
I don't know if I would use the word surprise, Rob, but I'm certainly very pleased with it. And to see him pick up the slack in Derek's absence. We are relying on the run a little bit more in the last 2 weeks because of the change in the quarterback position. And honestly, Rodney's answered the call. He's done extremely well. He seems to get stronger as the game goes on. He has speed. He's able to break the long one when it presents itself. And he has a knack for finding that crack in the defensive line. He doesn't need a lot of space to fit himself through. And he relies on all the tools that he has for his success.
Question for you from Jake. Go ahead, Jake.
Hey, Coach Cal. Good morning.
Good morning, Jake.
I just wanted to ask actually kind of a 1,000-foot view question, but I just think, the defense having this breakthrough performance, you really see a lot of the depth, the pieces at all 3 levels. Rodney Nelson obviously just has become just an elite national running back. Great showing, Trey Neal with the touchdowns receivers. And so all that to say is I was wondering, was there any particular approach in terms of this roster kind of identifying your personnel and building this roster? You've also, of course, talked about how this is one of the closest groups. I wonder, did that factor into it from a personality standpoint? But just what went into that, that well-construction blend of personality and obviously on-field performance?
Well, at least in my experience, Jake, I think anytime you have a close-knit team, a team that genuinely gets along and likes each other, you have a better chance of being successful. And that's really what I've seen from this group. You don't see one guy walking across campus. You see a gang of guys walking across campus. And anytime you have that type of camaraderie on your team, I think it gives you a pretty good chance of being successful.
God, thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Coach, Frankie had those two first quarter interceptions that you touched on, but then he finishes the day 14 out of 19 for over 200 yards, a couple of touchdowns. What was kind of the message to sort of settle him down, and how impressed were you? I mean, it would be easy for him to get rattled, especially on the road.
Well, I think, obviously you don't like to have the turnovers, and, they came down in the red area and we were going in to score. But then when you take a step back and look at it, they were both those interceptions came at the end of 80 plus yard drives. And we were moving the ball, and he was a big reason why we were moving the ball on those drives. And so I think we tried to focus, and when we got him to the sideline, is focus on the positives, the things he was doing to get us there, not necessarily on that one play where we turned it over. He's a very resilient young man. He's a great kid, and I think he knew exactly what he had done wrong, and he said, "Yeah, I'm ready to go."
Defensively, obviously you let up the one touchdown, which came in a short field after the interception, but otherwise a shutout for the rest of the day. You slowed Elijah Elliott, their talented back down. What did you do so well on that side of the ball?
Well, I think that, the guys are really doing a good job of running to the ball, and our tackling has improved each and every week. It's a group that had a lot of new faces at the beginning of the year, and I think 8 or 7 or 8 of them are first time starters for us, and so they're starting to get that cohesiveness. They're starting to get used to playing with each other, and I think when you have that, I mean, it's going to lead to success on the field. It's not always the case, but like I said, that group is starting to gel. They're starting to get more confidence. They're getting a lot more confidence on the terminal downs, third and fourth down situations, and able to get off the field. And then they did a good job in the red area this week.
Let's look ahead. Certainly a challenge on Saturday with a really good New Hampshire team coming to West Long Branch. As you've started to study them, what impresses you?
Well, we're certainly excited to be home after 2 weeks on the road. And as you look at New Hampshire, first of all, that's a team that Monmouth has never beaten. And so our guys, that fact has not been lost on our guys. They fully understand what we have to do and the level they're going to have to play at in order to give ourselves a chance to win. But you look at on the offensive side, they've got all the pieces. They've got a quarterback who's a dual threat. He's effective both running the ball and throwing it. He's the number one rusher on their team in terms of the yards per carry. They've got a talented running back who's a veteran player. And they've got a core of receivers, number 8, number 6, number 1, who are all talented. And all of them have double-digit yards per catch. So that's a group that, we're going to have to be not just aware of, but we're going to have to do a great job on the defensive side. And then you add to that the fact that they have a tremendous size in their offensive line. And I've said this on the call before, we're not a very big group on defense in terms of the physical size. We're on a rather small side. So we're going to have to play really well over there. And then when you look at their defense, I think up front, number 5 and number 7 are very active guys. They have good quickness, good speed. They cause a lot of disruption. The linebacker level, you've got number 42 is a guy that jumps out at you. I mean, he's a guy that's, I believe he's their leading tackler. And then number 4, I know he's missed a game or so in there, but that kind of that outside linebacker Viper position, he's very effective in both ways. So, we're going to have to play a complete game. We're going to have to up our level of play from where we've been in any week so far this season. And our players understand that.
All right, Coach Cal, thanks as always for the time here this morning. And